Good morning, everybody. Rhonda Lee Jones here. Um, Welcome to my channel. I'm here to encourage my artists, entrepreneurs, and other visionaries on their ways to make their things and do whatever it is you've been afraid to do or not quite sure how to do. Um, I'm in the same boat as you. Just figuring out my way through it and sharing what I've learned, you know. And today I'm going to talk about, oh yeah, this channel is for entertainment purposes only. Don't confuse me with your therapist. I'm just your buddy. Uh, so anyway, today I'm talking about how writer's block doesn't actually exist. It's kind of a thing we made up at some point. And I'm saying it that way because we give it too much power by making it this great big thing. I have writer's block. What should I do? And the answer to I have writer's block, what should I do? The answer is always write, put words on paper. The writer's block doesn't exist because there's nothing keeping you from doing that. You can put words on paper. You know words. Think of a word, any word, maybe the word word. Take a pen or sit at your computer, whatever, but I'm going to pretend you're writing on paper. Pick up a pen and write the word word on the paper, and you've just written, you know, write another word. There's nothing keeping you from doing that, barring, a stroke or, some physical, something going on. You're having a migraine. You might be a little blocked in those circumstances. But if you're a human being who's functioning as you always have, the idea of saying I have writer's block is very limiting. Maybe your writing isn't going the way you want it to go, you know, but don't use the excuse of having a block. It sounds like a medical condition. You don't have it. It doesn't exist. The reason we think we have writer's block a lot of the times is anxiety about writing. It's how we're feeling inside. You're just afraid to do it. You you're trying to control what's coming out. It's not going to happen the way you want it to, therefore I'm blocked. No, just if it's not happening the way you want it to, do it the way you don't want to. Let it happen the way it's happening. You know, you don't know what's going to come out. And I think that's why a lot of people think they have writer's block. They're afraid of what is actually going to come out today. Whether that's I have this emotion that I'm feeling that I'm not supposed to be feeling. Um, I'm thinking about the thing other than the thing that I want to do X number of words on today. Um, or I can do X number of words on the project today, but it's not going to be good. Who cares? Just write it. You're not blocked. You're just afraid to put words on paper. You're just trying to control the outcome. Don't do that. That's the cure for writer's block. Um, if if you want if you want a cure for there's no cure for the anxiety of writing. Writers are anxious people. You know why we're anxious people? Because we're doing important work. Doing something important always brings anxiety because people are going to judge you. That's never going away, ever, ever, ever. So we have to be comfortable in that anxiety. It's not going away. So, but your writer's block can go away, and it can go away this minute. I tell you what, if you have writer's block, um, get out your phone, get out your piece of paper, do something, bring a tablet, get a writing. It doesn't matter if it's what you usually write with. Go do it now. I will keep talking. I'll give you a few seconds to go get that, and we can do something together. And then you won't have writer's block anymore. I'm going to keep talking while you do that, because that curing this writer's block is going to be our exercise today. Remind me to tell you about my old friend Jay, um, from long ago. What to do about it? That was the next thing on the paper. That's what we're dealing with right now. I had a friend back in college, you know, and I was on my way to class one day and ran into him, and he was frustrated about his writing. He was writing a short story. I don't remember if it was for a class or just for his, his own work, his own amusement. But he was frustrated with one of his characters, and this is one of the funniest but most enlightening stories I've ever had with another writer. And yes, I still am claiming writer, even though I am acting. I do many, many things. I am a Renaissance woman. And that bothers some people, but we're going to talk about that at a later date. Renaissance people and how they make people angry. Um, so I ran into Jay one day on the way to class. We were both on our way to classes and things. And he was frustrated about the story. He was specifically angry at one of his characters. And I'm not going to tell you all the expletives he said in this conversation, but he said, she won't stay in the bleeping boat. She kept wanting to he wanted her in the boat. That's for whatever reason, he had imagined this story that involved her staying in a boat and going somewhere. She wouldn't stay in the boat. She would not stay in the boat. And I said, even at that young age, I think I was in my early 20s. I said, Jay, aren't you curious about where she wants to go? Don't fight with your character. Let her go, wherever she wants to go. Let her lead you, and see what this story wants to be. And what happened ultimately, I checked in with him about this story next time I ran into it. We worked together too, so it was probably that afternoon when we were both at work. I said, "Hey Jay, whatever." I mean, it was probably days later actually because we were all very busy. But I asked him. I said, "Whatever happened with the woman in the boat? What'd you do with that story?" And you know what he told me? I scrapped it. I scrapped it because he got into a power situation with his own work, and he couldn't make it do what he wanted it to do, so he stopped writing it. That's a story that, and he is no longer with us, so he's unable to complete that story. That's a story that never was written. Um, and I don't know if he ever. I've never heard of a writer saying they had writer's block when I was in a professional situation with them. I was in newspapers for 11 years and I had X number of stories to write per week. And writer's block is something that does not exist in the newsroom. Let me tell you, you have to put something on paper. It might be a shitty something, but you have to put something on paper, or guess what? You get fired. So treat it like that job. Show up anyway. Put words on paper. Hopefully you have your paper or your phone or whatever your writing implement. By the time you see this, it's going to be, something that you can pause for a minute anyway. So what we're going to do is I want you to take a deep breath, hold it for a second, breathe with me, get your pen ready, get your phone ready, breath in. Okay, now you're ready to write. I want you to write the first word that comes to mind. Whatever that word is, doesn't matter. It could be word, it could be cat. I don't care what it is. Um, Once I sat down to write and I didn't know what to write. And so I saw a bug. There was a bug in the room for some reason. So I started describing what it looked like and what it was doing. And I had a great time doing it. Wrote a page on that bug. So do that now. If you can't think of anything else, look up the first thing you see on your desk and just sit and describe it. You know, what do you see? How does that make you feel? If you don't want to do that, think about the project that you're blocked on. I will never not do air quotes with block. Um, What are your thoughts on what should come next? Just write it badly. Write it in simple sentences. You know, I think that's a big thing with writers, especially writers who write well or who are in love with the flow of their own words. Um, they can't achieve that poetry, right? Because this is why I got stumped a few times. It's not happening the way it normally happens. Write it out in simple sentences. Excuse me. The candle is purple. The candle has eyes on it. The candle has a face on it. The candle has never been lit. That's not true because I'm an actor, so that candle has been lit. Um, just write badly. Um, if you can't, if you're in an emotional state where your human brain is not working, just write a list. I'm not even joking. If you can't write anything else, write a list. Purple things in my room, you know, write that list. I actually find writing lists to be very comforting. Um, Switch your writing implements. If you normally write directly onto the computer, onto the laptop, grab a pen. That can be very, very grounding. All these things sound dumb, but usually the dumb things are the things that work. There's not some grandiose, fix for writer's block. It doesn't, you don't have to talk to your shrink about it. I said shrink. Um, that is a word from the past that came out of my mouth. You don't have to talk to your therapist about it. Um, you just don't. Um, just sit down and put words on paper. That's literally all you have to do. Occam's razor, the simplest fix is probably the one you want. It's the one that's going to work. But we stand in our own way so many times by thinking this is a big sophisticated problem I have. You know, um, when you do that, when you're writing, just give me a paragraph. Give me a paragraph. Give me like 10 sentences, you know, about whatever it is you're writing about. It doesn't have to remain on that topic either. Just, this isn't for a grade. This isn't for a grade. I think that's a lot of writer's block is we think we're doing it for a grade when we're not. It's secret writing before, before you put it out there, you know. Um, if you are writing a book and you have written all these wonderful chapters, um, hint, if you haven't written your entire draft, they shouldn't be beautiful chapters yet. You should not be going back and editing anything because you may have to cut that stuff later. No, seriously. Um, just because you love it doesn't mean you're going to keep it in writing in life. So just write it quickly. Just get the information down on the page. Don't try to make it beautiful. That's why you're blocked, probably. Don't try to make it beautiful. Make it beautiful later. Draft 50, whatever. Um, I've never had to do 50 drafts of anything. But you might. That might be your process. That's just. I wrote something large one time. It took me 5 years, and the reason it took me 5 years is I kept going back and trying to make it beautiful before it was out yet. You have to think about content first. So just put your thoughts on paper. Do it as quickly as you can, and do it now. Then you're not going to be blocked. All right, kids, I am done talking about that. Now I can get on a pedestal talking about the ways in which we stand in our own ways with conditions that don't exist all day long. So, congratulations, you're cured. Go have fun. Bye. Love you. I'm going to make funny faces now because that's apparently what I do. What does it say? I can't see.